This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, you're a player here. You're a made man. You know, Ric Flair's coming out. He's the world champ, and he's lending his credibility with the audience to you, and that goes a long way. But your booking is kind of all over the place. I mean, you're having opportunities to have good matches, I'm sure, with the Rock and Roll Express and your man, Ole Anderson. But very often they're splitting you up into singles action. Would it be fair for me to assume that they were doing that simply because Ole didn't want to work? I mean, Ole didn't want to work those towns, didn't have to, and got to sort of call his spots?
It could have been. I know that, I was wanting to get over on my own as well as being just Ole's partner.
Right.
I know that Ole didn't want to do a bunch of driving, to smaller B towns.
Right.
And I'm sure that when he made his deal with Jimmy Crockett, it would be for the bigger towns, and that would have been a closed door meeting. I just started to figure out when Ole wasn't there, he was home because he wanted to be, and he had earned that right. And nobody could argue that. He didn't need to be in Sumter, South Carolina and Savannah on a double shot, on a given Sunday, which, no disrespect to either town, it wasn't your A-list towns. Mm-hmm. So if he missed those and I was booked in a single, I totally got it. Man, I wanted to be everywhere, every day, every place there was a town booked because business was starting to catch on. We were starting to catch on. I saw how the Rock and Roll Express was starting to catch on. At that same time, the Midnight Express was starting to catch on. You could just feel that, like, those B towns that had been half full, maybe a couple of months before that, were now 3/4 full. And you could just feel everywhere we went, business was picking up. And you could just sense it and feel it, and things were catching on fire. And it was a good feeling to be featured and be part of that.
It's interesting to take a look at some of the results from these cards, because you're not always teaming with Ole. Sometimes Ole's not on the card, but other times you guys are both booked, but in singles action, like on August 10th in Greensboro, North Carolina. You're working Sam Houston and he's working Starship Eagle. Are we trying, do you think, if you had to guess, sort of retroactively, what now, 36 years ago, are we doing you guys in singles matches simply because we need to fill a card up, and that would just, we've only got so many guys, and that makes sense?
100%.
Yeah.
I was able to use that same terminology, believe it or not. That should scare you. They're trying to fill a card with names.
Yeah.
And if the name is only on one side of the match, it doesn't matter. That's the name that's going to draw the people. It can be Ole Anderson versus Wrestler X.
Yeah.
You're not paying to see Wrestler X, you're paying to see Ole Anderson.
That's right.
And Sam Houston was a guy at that time who was a perfect baby face to get a heel that you're trying to build over. He sold great. He made good comebacks. He was an underdog. He looked young because he was young, and he was a victim for an Anderson, and it was a great guy. You could get great heat working with Sam Houston, but still have a competitive match because he had babyface skills.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.